Yep. Good morning, everyone. So, last session we learned about component life cycle. So, Hooke's concept is two important points you need to remember. Hooks and life cycle hooks are different. Hook is different and life cycle hook is different. So, hook is related to function. Life cycle hooks are related to classes, right? And yesterday we saw various phases. Every component have three phases: mount, update, unmount. But before mount, component creation will be there. So in which phase events are registered? Registered. Events are registered in which phase? Mount. In which phase style binding happens? Mount phase. In which phase state is initialized? Component creation. At the time of creating the component, in which phase it is recommended to assign or set state. Set state, if anybody asks, can we set state in component creation before mount? Before mount also we can set state. But what is problem? It will lead to bugs. So it is always recommended to define set state after mount. Right? So we saw how the life cycle hooks are present. So what are the life cycle hooks? Next important today now, we are going to learn about React Material UI. So Material UI. Actually, we call it as MUI now. It is a short MUI. React Material UI. So what is this Material UI is? It provides actually material provides UI and UX components. It provides UI and UX components. So what is difference between UI component and UX component? In general web development, what is UI and what is UX? UX is for how the design behavior must be, design and its behavior. That means UX is nothing but you can simply say that it is a plan for a component. It is a plan for your UI. That means how your UI should behave, what content it should have, which place you must keep it, in which situation, how it responds. All this is planned in UX. UX is about planning the design, and UI is about creating the design. We plan the design in UX and we create the design with the UI. That means where logo should come, where banner should come, where advertisement should come, where navbar should come, how navbar should open, in which alignment it should open, how it should close. All such behavioral concepts are defined in UX. and design is defined in UI. UI is about design and UX is about behavior. If anybody asked in interview, explain one example for UI UX components in interview. If anyone asks like, then for example, see, means how you can explain UI and UX. Suppose we want to display some data. Data is coming from API, and here some 1 million records are present. 1 million records are present. We need to collect all the data and display in our UI. Then collecting 1 million records and showing them. So we will plan to design in a grid. We already learnt grid. We can create our own grid. So grid is like a table, but in grid, 1 million records we don't show at a time. What we do is we plan for pagination. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages. Now what happens is in every page, suppose 50 records will load per page. So the grid is showing currently how many records on screen in first page? 50 records. How many records are present? 1 million records. Other records are present in 2, 3, 4 pages. Now the question for you is, when I am watching the first 50 records, are all other records loaded? Are all other records loaded and ready? I am currently watching first page. What about other pages? Are they loaded and ready? I have to go to second page, then second page results must come. Now the question is, are they loaded already? If they already loaded, then that is not good. Why? Because why you are loading if you are not sure whether user will go to second page or not. When we want the next set of records to come from API and load, when user navigates to the second page. That means when user clicks the second page, next 50 should come. So content should not load until or unless we need it. This mechanism is called, we call it as lazy loading. We call it as lazy loading. So designing a grid is a part of UI, and giving lazy loading behavior is called as UX. Lazy loading behavior means what? Lazy loading behavior means it will load the next page only when you go to next page. That means next 50 records will load only when you click on next page. That means until you go to the next page, next records will not be there. You can see that actually. Suppose I am using Google search. In Google search, I am searching for images. In the images, I am searching for React. React.js images are there. Millions of images are there. Now the question is, are all images loaded? All images are not loaded. Do you know the point? When I scroll down, next set will be loading. Am I right? Here there is no page number also. You scroll down, the next set will be loading. This is lazy loading behavior. That means it will load only when you want it. So designing UI is not important. Planning the behavior is also important. That means whether it should load all at a time or whether it should load only when you want them. This behavior plan is called as what? UX. So UI is about design and UX is about behavior. And actually, to implement lazy loading like behavior, you need lot of code. You need to write lot of logic. But what React people are saying that we already designed such things, you just use it. That means what is material? Material is a library where designs and behaviors are already designed. You just implement them and use them in your application. What this helps us is to build application faster. If anybody asks what is the purpose of Bootstrap, what is the purpose of Bootstrap? Rapidly build UI. What is the purpose? What are the alternatives of Bootstrap? Tailwind. What is the purpose of Tailwind? Rapidly build UI. That means all the third party tools purpose is rapidly building UI. Means build UI faster. That is the intention. You see the website like Get Bootstrap. See what these people say, build fast. What is the first priority is fast. Suppose I go to Tailwind CSS. You see these people say rapidly build. That means every third party main point is build rapid, fast, speed. That means we don't want our developers to waste time in designing some content which is already designed. We just want to use it. We don't want, because already software development is not a talent show, it is business. They don't care how much hard work you done and designed. They will just care you designed and it's perfectly working. They don't care about your hard work behind it. You cannot say that I spent 1 month and I designed it. I worked very hard for it. They don't care. So they want a functionality. Why you spent 1 month and wasted 1 month if it can be done in one day? That means why you are designing everything. Already designs are there. Just use them. Even companies will purchase these designs for you because some are free and some are paid. You have to pay money and you have to use them. That is the reason these days web developers not just learning the technology and building the components. Developers should learn how to do it in a faster way. That is the main point. And for that, we have a lot of third parties. MUI is that. So, what is UI and what is UX? So, UI for design and UX for behavior. Mhm. So, now what is difference? Actually, components means component library. That means you can build, you can rapidly build interactive UI for React applications. You can rapidly build interactive UI for React applications. Actually, it is similar to Bootstrap. That means you have cards, you have pop-ups like models. In Bootstrap, what components you have? Buttons, forms, input groups, and in Bootstrap you have nav bars, models, accordion, carousels. Same type of content is present in material also. Then what is difference? The difference is material is built in React. That means for React applications, it will be more better. But it is not mandatory because every solution they don't have. Again, some designs you have to depend on Bootstrap. You need a combination of both Bootstrap and Material UI. So what is speciality about MUI is built for React. It is built for React. Bootstrap is not built for React. Bootstrap is built for JavaScript apps. Any JavaScript app can use it. But this is specially designed only for React. That means it can perform better with React. So that means it can perform better with React. It can perform better with React. But remember, MUI is not a part of React. It is not a part of React. That means it is not necessary that every React application will use MUI. It is not a part of React. That means several companies don't use MUI. So that is the reason we should just know how to deal with it. We are not sure whether our so MUI is just an alternative library for React apps, React applications. Alternative library for React applications. So it is similar to Telerik, like Dev Express, like that. So Bootstrap, all these are the third parties, like we have Tailwind. So sometimes people use Twitter Bootstrap. So many are present. But what is the specialty is it is built for React and it is good for React. Companies may be using different third parties. So that is the reason React version, MUI versions are different. That means MUI is a separate library and their team is separate. React and MUI versions are not same. And recently they completely changed. That means up to React 18, it is different. And from React 18 onwards, it is complete different. Complete different means they have redesigned the library. Actually, advanced version means what? Advanced version means they will add some new features to the existing. But this MUI advanced version is completely reconstructed. That means they completely redesigned. That means several old features are removed and completely a new library is added. That is the reason from React 18 onwards, MUI installation is different. Its usage is little different when compared to previous version. Previous version installation different. Now latest version MUI is different. So the latest version of MUI is a complete rewrite of library with new support with new support for with new support for with new support with at the net emotion and at the net emotion style with new support. So already given like emotion and emotion style. So these are newly added into MUI. Earlier we don't have them. That means people who already know React and working on React, they are new to this emotion library. Actually, this is newly added into MUI. Earlier, it doesn't have this emotion library. Now they added this library. So latest version of MUI is different from others. So if you are watching any examples related to MUI on internet, YouTube and anywhere, once check which version they are delivering. That means which version they are talking about, because the old versions are not compatible to new. That means new React 18 will not support the old version of MUI. You have to install latest MUI only. Old version of MUI is not supported. So this is the official website of MUI. This is MUI official website. And see here also same point. What is the primary concept? Move fast. That means every third party's primary aim is same. Rapidly build fast, move fast. And see here, these people provide up to certain limit free. Then others are paid services. You have to pay money. Because MUI is not completely free. You have pricing. That means up to certain limit you can use it. So if you want more from it, then you have to pay money and buy that library, right? And see, this MUI is already used by people like Amazon, Netflix, NASA. You remembered we designed Netflix like screen in the beginning. In the beginning, we learned how to design Netflix like screen. What difference you found there is look looks like Netflix, but feel is not like Netflix. Look is like Netflix, but feel is not like Netflix, because Netflix buttons, bootstrap buttons, they look different. Their font is different. If font changes, appearance changes, feel will change. That means we achieved the Netflix design. In the beginning itself, we created it. We achieved the Netflix design, but we haven't achieved the feel, because their components and our components are different. They are using MUI and we were using Bootstrap. MUI button different and these Bootstrap buttons look different. I will show you now. We will see. And see, this is pricing. You can see that. So you can purchase and you can see that they have so different. And you see React UI library, React UI library, according to the industry standards, UI library they are giving free. UI library means some components they are giving free, but UX library you have to pay money. And see, MIT licensed. In software technologies, you remember one thing, MIT licensed any software, MIT licensed any software is not responsible for any issues. Especially softwares take MIT license to tell the developers that we are not responsible for any of its bugs. If any issue comes, you are using it. If any issue comes, we are not responsible. That is what MIT license is. If it is not an MIT license, because Pro and others you pay money, they are not MIT licensed. If they are not MIC licensed, you pay money, you got any issues, their team will resolve it for you. And depends, if you pay more money, then they will immediately respond. You pay less money, they will take some time to respond. That means it depends on how you pay money. You see people like Telerik also. Telerik is also, this is a very popular one, and you see NASA, Microsoft, IBM, these people are using it. They are customers of Telerik. These are the customers of Telerik. And you see, when you go to the pricing, you can observe that here in the pricing, you see priority support, 24 hours response time. And see, this is per developer cost, per one developer. And you see, this is ultimate support. What is this ultimate support is? You got an issue, immediately the issue will goes at a priority level. We classify issues as P1, P2, P3, P4 like that. If it is a priority one issue, immediately their team will respond and they will solve it for you. That MIT license means you are on your own. That means they are providing, you are freely using. If you got any problem, it's not working or some issues are coming, your own, you solve it. They will not respond. You post a problem in their community, they may respond, they may or may not respond. It doesn't matter. That means MIT license is that. That is the reason usually companies, what they do is they purchase. Because if any issues are there, then immediately their team will resolve it for you. So that is means they have a support, right? And you see here, this is MUI. We will see the products here. MUI, we have MUI core and MUIX. And it is having some tool pad. It is having some templates. Templates means ready-made website templates. So ready-made templates are present, they will sell you. That means you want a website for a bakery, then they will provide a ready-made website design for you. You just pay money for it. They give you a website design for that. You customize according to your requirements. So these are the important things. We will see how to use them. And what is free is this UI core components are free. I will show you UX also. In UX, some are free, some are paid. You have to pay. I will show you how to use these two. Like, let's see how to handle that. So MUI core components are free to use, are free to use. So core components are free to use. So the components include what components we have, like buttons, cards, navbar, model. So you have like tab, controls. So you have a lot of other options also. Accordion. So you learned so many in Bootstrap now. You know accordions, you know collapse. So you know input groups, you know forms, you know pop-ups, alerts. So like that, so many components are provided. But what is difference between Bootstrap and this is Bootstrap is completely built with jQuery, and this is completely built with React. React. Let's see how they work. And you already know how to build a component. That means, can you tell what is a button here? Button is a function. What is a button? Button is a function. Function means it is a component. It is a component. That means what they do, they already designed component, export function. What is it? Button. And for that, they created some design. And what you have to do, you have to just access this button. You have to use. And remember, majority the MUI components are controlled components. Controlled components means what? They are defined with some properties. You have to pass the properties. They are all controlled ones. Controlled ones means what? You can customize according to your requirements. They will give a button, what color it should have, what width it should have. You can control it. That means they are not fixed. They just give a button. We will control it. That means majority of these components, right? MUI components are controlled components. So you can customize using props. You know what is props? Props are properties. MUI components are controlled components. They are the controlled components. So let's see how to use them. So as I told you, recently they changed the library. The installation process also different. Current, so we will go here. So we are going to use which one? MUI core. And you see the MUI core. This is the MUI core. And in this, they have material UI. They have like Joy UI, MUI system, base UI. Like that, they are having so many other options. Here, component library is this one, MUI. You go to MUI, and this MUI, you can see the MUI. I will give you the versions previous year. Actually, this is what you need to copy. Yeah, I will show you the version. Current version is 5. The previous versions, we have 4 version, which is the older version. And in this older version, you have to install by using Material UI Core. This is what you have to do. But as I told you, latest version completely changed the library. In the latest version, so what is the latest version? Let me select the latest version. In the latest version, the complete installation is different. That means in the latest version, you have emotion, react, emotion style. This is new. Earlier, they used to have only material UI and its installation also different. But latest, they changed it completely. And React 18 and higher versions, they need latest. They need latest. They cannot use the old one. Compatibility issues will come. So this is what you have to set up. So what you need to do is React 18 X versions require MUI 5X version. So others are not compatible. The other versions are not compatible. So what you have to do is install MUI library for project. npm install @MUI material emotion react emotion style. Emotion is a new library added with material. So I will open our project and let's install it. React tab. So install MUI material, MUI emotion react and emotion style. So I am installing this. So let's open the terminal here and we will set up this. Okay. I'm installing Material UI Emotion React. Remember, these are not standard. So as up to now, what it is having, I am showing. After 1 2 months, it may not be there. It may change. You need to keep in touch of that website, check what they are newly adding. You need to keep update. That means it's not like today what you learned the same will be in the same way after 1 2 months. These are very frequently changing. That is the reason you need to keep in touch of this website regularly. You need to explore these components by yourself only. That means nobody actually on YouTube or anywhere also, nobody will teach you MUI components. Nobody will show you MUI components. Why they don't show you MUI components? Because even they show, that is not enough, because they will be changing every few months. Some new things will be coming. In that case, it is waste of time. A developer will not learn how to use it. A developer will explore and use it. That means it's not like learning. If you are a React developer, you have to explore by yourself and use them, because hundreds of components are present. Nobody can teach you. You have to just pick up which one you need for your situation. According to that, you have to implement. You have to explore and learn by yourself. These all components, because you see how many components they have. You see the components here. These are all components. See how many components are there. Left side, so many components. You have so many components. Nobody in the world will teach you these components. They will tell you 1 2 components and they say that this is how you use others. You need to explore by yourself and use them. So here I will show you one simple point here. So now once you install the Material UI, it's ready. Material UI is installed in our project. Okay. Let's see how to use this MUI. I will show you the difference. You will understand. So let's see. I will add a component. I will add a component MUI demo. So MUI demo.jsx. So here, export function MUI demo and return, because already Bootstrap is set up. We will see the difference. Huh? So let's see the difference. That means I will show you bootstrap input. That means in bootstrap, how input is designed. That means you want to take some username password. Then how you design in bootstrap, how you design in MUI. What is the difference you observe? In bootstrap, how you design any input. So we will create a div. In that we will have a label. I am showing traditional way of bootstrap. This is username, and below that there is a div. This is what input type is, what text, and this name is username, and you know that label have to use a binding attribute called for, and this is for which one, username. And what is the class for label? We have a form label. What is the class for this text box? We have a class called form control. And for this div we will put a class w25. Okay, this is the traditional way of designing a input. In this is the traditional way of creating a form. In every HTML form we will have a label and we will have a input, and the labels are binded with the input by using a binding attribute called for. That's a very traditional thing. Every professional form design contains this mechanism. Okay, this is the traditional form that we do in bootstrap. I will keep this in startup. Okay, so in the index I will make this in the startup. Which one is MUI demo? We will import MUI demo. Okay, so MUI demo, this is the general bootstrap. Bootstrap input looks like this. That means we have a text box, we have a label, and we have the content. And you know, of course, in the text box, if you want, you can put a placeholder. Am I right? Placeholder, suppose your name. Okay, so here I am just keeping that name. This is Bootstrap. Let's see how MUI will have. So let's go. Now MUI components. So I will design another heading. Okay, here MUI input, how it is. We will keep a div. We will put the class as W25. This time in MUI, we have a component called text field. Text field is a MUI component. Text field is a MUI component. That means we design the text field. It is an MUI component, material UI component. Actually, importing any component will have two mechanisms. So how you can import any component is actual two methods are there. I will show you. This is installing. After installing, import component, import a component into your component. This import which component? MUI component. No? MUI component into your component. So how do we import? Two methods are there. Import, we have, suppose component name is text field, from @MUI/material. This is one method. Another method is, or you can import, so text field, so from MUI material and text field. Like this, you can do that. So that means there is another method. Instead of doing this, import, I will show you that text field from text field from at the net MUI material text field. You can import like this. You can import like this. I'm just using the difference. Can you tell what is difference between these two? Why? What is the difference between these two technically? In the first case, you are importing MUI complete library and you are using only text field. And in this case, you are using only text field. You are importing only text field. That means this is lightweight and this is heavy. Why it is heavy? You are accessing entire material, but you are using only text field. You are using only text field, then load only text field related library. But this is not great every time. Why? Because suppose I want to use 10, 15 components. Then every component related library separately loaded, it will take time. So if you are dealing with many components, the first mechanism is correct. That means this is good if you are dealing with many components. If you are dealing with only specific, I think you already know in Bootstrap also same is there. Generally what happens, to use Bootstrap, you will have a file called bootstrap dot bundle dot js. This is going to load all Bootstrap related components. But do you know, in Bootstrap we want to use only carousel. Then we have a carousel.js. We have alert.js. That means if you import this, only carousel will work. But if you import this, all will work. Which one is better? Depends. Why? Why it depends? Because if you are using many components, then better use this. If you are using only one component, then why to import everything? You import only what is needed for it. That will be lightweight. That depends. So if you are dealing with multiple components, then you can put here. What is advantage here? You can access button, you can access text box, you can access other fields. But in this case, what you can access? You can access only text box. That is how we can define, right? So you can use any technique. So you import what? Text field from material UI. Okay. Now I am writing the text field. And remember, it is a control. I'll put the property here. So text field have a label. What is the label for text field? Is username. Username is the label. And the text field is having a variant. It is having a variant. Variant means suppose I am giving standard. Okay. Standard variant I am giving. Observe carefully now. The MUI input looks like this. This is MUI input. And see the specialty. You click here, it will go there. Both are same. Both are text boxes only. Right? But this is little different. You have animation, you have effects. Like this, if you have to design your ordinary text box, you can design, but it requires a lot of CSS. You can easily design like that in general also. Why? It requires a lot of CSS. It is already designed, you just use it. That means it have, and remember, functionality, everything same, only design. Functionality means how to collect the value from it, how to collect the value from it. So it's a simple thing, nothing special. Suppose what we will do, we will create a constant username. What it is? Set username is equal to what? Use state. It is a string. And what we will do, we will write a function handle what? Name change. We will collect the event argument. What is that? Set username e dot target dot what? Value. You need to write this for the text field. What we have to write what? On change. Handle name change. Where you want to show below, I will put a heading. We will say hello and that particular username. Username is coming from the state. And you can see that when I type something, when I type something inside it, then it will be same. There is no change. That means the difference between your Bootstrap and MUI. So that means in Bootstrap also you are having text box fields and all, but this looks little different. It looks little different in appearance. Remember, I just given only one variant. Actually, there are so many variants. Suppose I am giving a variant like outline. Outline is a variant I have given. Outlined. Then it will be like this. That means you have a different style for that. So the previous variant I given as I think filled is also a variant. Filled variant looks like this. It looks like this. It's a filled variant. And normal one is what? Standard. Standard. Now the question is, where do I know all these variants? Where do I know about this component and its properties? Right? If you want to know about any component and all its properties, they will provide they will provide a component API. You have to visit their website, go to that component API, because every time it is not same. In a new version, they may add new features. Right? That is the reason you need to go to component API. What is the field we are using? We are using a field called which field? We are using the field called text field. See how many components are there. So many components are there. We are using text field component. You see, this is text field component. You select the text field component, and text field component, you can see they will give you how to import. Two methods are there, and they will give you all the properties that it is having. These are all the props. You know props. Why props? Because it is a controlled one. And what are the property names it is having? Auto complete, auto focus, classes, color. Color is also it is having. And I used which one? I used variant, margins, multi-line, on change, required, rows, select, so many attributes. I am using variant. That means you can change this with all these attributes. That means to learn about every component, you need to come here and you need to explore the properties. Nobody, nowhere you will see anybody teaching you this. Why? Because it's not possible. Hundreds of components are unnecessary for anybody. That means for his project, according to his requirements, what he needs, he will go there and he will explore and he will use it. Learning other components also time waste. Why time waste? Because why you are learning if you are not using them and you don't need them? It's waste of time. Because whenever you need, you can easily come here and explore. Right? I will show you some other example also you can understand. So see how to import this example I will give here. So syntactically, we need a text field, and we have like on change, handle name change something. We have like variant, standard, like that. This is like label, username, like this. So to explore all props, so you have to visit component API category in MUI official site. Component API category in MUI official site, you have to do it. Just one example I am giving. MUI MUI demo.jsx. So MUI demo.jsx. Some components, they look very complicated. Actually, that is the reason some projects directly use only Bootstrap. Why? Because you designed a card, na? You want a card-like experience design. Then you see, I will copy this example for you. Okay, this is in this example, I given both difference, MUI and Bootstrap, how they look like. Functionality is same for both of them, right? But see here, let's see some other components. Remember, here, two in this website, you have two things, components and component API. First, to know how a component looks like, how it works, you go here and see. And as a developer, to implement it, you have to come here and see. That means first we should know, is it suitable for us? How it looks like, how it works. If you want to see the demo first, go to component and see the demo. And if you want to use it, then come to component API and see the properties and imports, whatever it needed. That means know about a component in the components category. Implement it by following component APIs. Any library, these two are important. To, as a developer, to use a component, you should go to its API and see what they provide. And see here, I will show you. In the components, you have a button, right? And you will see that the button actually looks like this. Button looks like this. You see, button variant is text, button variant contained, button variant outline, and button actually have different colors also. You see, button variant is contained, color is what? Success. But if I want to know what other colors are present, then where to go? Not here. You have to go to where? API. In the API, which one you have to select? Button. And when you go to the button, and you can see that the button will be having all the, and whatever colors possible, it will show. Right? So see how it looks like. and confirm that, okay, this is what I want. Then to explore all its details, you need to go to API and check it. And that you have to implement here. Suppose you see our bootstrap button. So below this, I will keep a div. So some class margin top 4 or 2 or 3. I'll keep margin Y. Okay, here we need a button. Then generally we use a button, and a button is what, like login, and how the button looks like: class name, btn primary. This is the class. This is which button? That is the bootstrap button. Bootstrap button looks like this. Now let's see how material button looks like. Material button, I'm adding another div, and so class margin Y is 4. And here we need a button. This button is material button. And material button is having, this is the material button we are having. This is the material button we are having. And what is the material button? We have login. And you can see that material button. So login is normal plain. And what are the styles we are having? Button have a variant, not variant. What they have? Button is having style, variant only. Yeah? So variant. Okay, what are the variants available? We have the variant like contained. Okay, what is the color? Color is like, we have the color like which one? Success, error, info, primary color is there. And you can see that now the button of MUI look different. The complete style of button is different when compared to that. That is the reason when you see Netflix, in Netflix we created a text box, email field, sign in button. They are different. Why they are different? Because they use MUI. They are not using the bootstrap, right? I think in this project itself we have a, in the project, not here we don't have a, I think we designed it before we came here, right? That means we designed it in our general web application environment. But anyhow, this is how it looks like. Functionality, everything same. There is no change. That means on click, what action to perform, event, everything same. And remember, this will apply. Suppose I am giving a class name W100. W100, that means it is nothing but width 100 for that. And for this text field also, the class name we are applying. So W100, that means it supports your bootstrap classes also, it will support. You can apply your bootstrap classes to this. Right? This is MUI. And look at others. For example, you see the design components. You see cards. We learned cards, na? You see here card. Yeah, so many are there. Button group, icons, card. You can see this is the card, and you see that their cards look little different. This is how it looks. Generally in Bootstrap, what we have? Card header, card body, card footer. But these people have different. You see, this is the card of React MUI. You can use these cards. You can see the source code here. You open the show code, it will open the source code. You see how many you need to import here. That means card, card header, card media, card content, card actions, collapse. Collapse, in Bootstrap, we have show hide like collapse. So much it will take to design all this, right? That is the reason every time we are not satisfied with this. That means sometimes we don't want this much complex, we want a simple card, then we will do with Bootstrap. We want complex with lot of effects like this, then we use this. You do one thing, you try few components. So for example, in Bootstrap you learned model na? So you try model, and you try accordion. In Bootstrap also there is accordion, right? So you try model and accordion and card. These three you try, right? By yourself, you check and you try. That means once you know and explore by yourself, then you can easily handle later whenever they changes, right? This is just a guidance for you to understand that we can build better UI by taking help of these components, right? I will show another one. UX components. UX components means with behavior and experience, like calendars, data grids, how they are designed by using UX as well as UI. That we'll see tomorrow. In tomorrow's session, one more component I will explain related to UX. Others you have to try. This is not like somebody teach you, right? You have to try. I will explain another one, how to use UX components. So then we can move to very important topic, routing. Routing is one major concept in applications for building navigation. So single page application completely depend on a concept called routes, that we will see in the next session after I explain this. Tomorrow we'll continue. Okay, right.